Before NASCAR's biggest stars made their names on the sport's largest stages, many learned how to win in one of racing's most legendary proving grounds. Known as the birthplace of NASCAR stars, Hickory Motor Speedway has been a cornerstone of stock car racing since opening in 1951 as a half-mile dirt track. Over the decades, champions like Ralph Earnhardt, Junior Johnson, and the late Ned Jarrett, Jack Ingram, and Harry Gant all found success at Hickory, helping build the track's reputation of one of NASCAR's most important short tracks. The track hosted the NASCAR Cup Series through 1971 and became a staple of what is now the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, bringing future stars and Hall of Famers through its gates year after year. Today, its tight 0.4 of a mile layout continues to showcase some of the best late model racing in the country. More than 75 years after its opening, Hickory remains a place where NASCAR's rich history and bright future meet under the lights. Today, it's the Brinnon Fire Department 100 at Hickory Motor Speedway, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good noon time. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Hickory Motor Speedway. Practice just about wrapped up. A little less than 3 minutes remaining here. Let's take a look at the race details before we get too deep into the woods. 100 laps the distance here tonight, just shy of 50 miles. A pit road speed limit of 35 miles per hour. Not too sure we're going to see many takers in that department here tonight. Likely to even lose a lap under caution at this place, but they do have two sets of tires available over the wall. A 10% load of fuel on board. That gives them 20 to 25 laps on a full tank. There are no fast repairs and one attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Weather-wise, we're looking 76 degrees, nice and comfortable, 62% humidity. Clear skies, a 3-mile-per-hour breeze, track temperature about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's go down trackside here to see the fast times of the evening thus far. On top of the timing and scoring, it's the 25 of Dan Michelle, a 14.630, followed by Colton Alderman with a 14.71, Landon Brown, James Van Hoosen, Dan Jones, the top five. Some usual faces that we tend to see here at the front of the field in this practice session. We'll jump into qualifying here in just about a minute and a half when the black and red flags drop from the starter stand. Definitely a throwback racetrack. These are the type of tracks the ARCA Series, I think, should be running on the regular. It's fun to watch them go out and run the big tracks like the Cup Series and O'Reilly and trucks tend to go to, but this is, I think, the heart of racing. This is where these race cars kind of belong. Yeah, okay, take them to Daytona to start the season off. That's all well and good. Maybe throw a road course or two in throughout the course of the season. But even a dirt track, even though I'm not a big fan of that sort of thing, run these things out on the dirt once. That's what they used to run in the ARCA Series back in the day. K&N Pro Series also did it quite a bit. But definitely keep them here on these bull rings. It's a national series out at a local track. Granted, Hickory, obviously storied in history. We've also done a little bit of updating here to the graphics tonight. We're pushing things a little further than we tend to, so it is also a bit of an experiment. So if there's some hiccups, I apologize in advance, but so far everything looking beautiful in the late sun day here at Hickory. Dan Jones all over the back bumper of Chris Golden here as practice comes to a close. Chris Golden and Dave Warmuth in the chat already. Thanks for checking in, guys. Happy Saturday. We'll see who takes to the Speedway first for our qualifying session. Looks like Nick Christ might be the first driver to roll on out. That is indeed the case, and I think we're going to be open qualifying again. I forget if that was an oopsie last week or if it was intentional. Either way, I'm kind of a fan. Kind of gives that late night, Friday, Saturday night short track vibe, putting all the cars out there. Brought a 5-minute practice session, 5-minute qualifying sessions, and then a couple of heats. I don't think we're doing heats tonight, but at least that's how they run it at our local short track. Very quickly, Dan Michel goes top of the board, a 14.692 for the number 25, backing up his time in practice. Casey Bristow goes second quick. Chase Miller in the third spot and his number 55, Twisted Speed Setups Chevrolet. Steve Luttrell is familiar. Luttrell Racing number 36. Fourth quick. Chris Golden says it in the chat. Short tracks will remain open qualifying. Realize we liked it at Langley. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like it too. Marty Roberts in the 54. He is 9th on the board as Hunter Carlson now leaving pit lane in his number 32. He's 10th fast, trying to improve. He'll head back out on the Speedway with a fresh set of tires. Oh, maybe not. Real slipping and sliding through the grass there off turn number 2, pit exit. Pat Warmoth now jumps up to the 13th spot on his last lap. Dylan Manley, 20th right now, 14.967. Dylan carrying the title sponsor's colors, Brinnon Fire Department. Didn't realize there was a few guys in here, part of the fire service, myself included. I've been out a few years, but put a good 15 in. I think Chris Golden was for a time also, Dylan Manley, and I think his father also. Chris Golden 10th quick now. About 2 minutes left before we drop checkered flags here in qualifying. Jump up for Steve Luttrell, P3 now with a 14.73. Colton Alderman into P8. Whoa! Good catch for the 4. Yogi Schleer now finds himself into the top 10. 14.820, and looks like he is going to call it. He's down in the grass here. Three drivers had yet to come to the Speedway now. Stephen Gill, Elijah Grant, Chris Norris have not locked in a time here in this session. Landon Brown, 6th quick. Austin Cansdale, 15th. Cansdale, the number 33, and around he goes. Nick Chris, the number 26. I think that's an old Blaze Alexander paint scheme, if I remember correctly, or maybe an Adam Petty. I can't recall. Either way, throwback for sure. That'll do it. Qualifying in the books here at Hickory Motor Speedway, and it looks like Dan Michel will continue to win the sessions. Practice, he was fastest. Qualifying, he's fastest. So let's get to it. Our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 14.691 seconds. It's the number 25 machine. That's Dan Michel, flanked by the 32 of Casey Bristow. Missed it by just about 30 thousandths of a second. In row number 2, it'll be Stephen Luttrell and Chase Miller. Row 3, it'll be James Van Hoosen and Landon Brown. In the 4th row, Nick Christ and David Warmoth. Row 5, Colton Alderman and Yogi Schlier. Starting 11th, the number 19 of Chris Golden with Hunter Carlson to his right elbow in the 12th spot. 13th starter Marty Roberts Jr. Pat Warmoth will roll off 14th. Austin Cansdale will be your 15th starter. Jason Woodham, 16th. Dan Jones in the 17 will start 17th. Tracy Brown will be 18th. 19th starter Ryan Bittler, 20th is Dylan Manley. 21st, Gio Valenti. 22nd, Luna Liepo. Stephen Gill will start 23rd, with Chris Norris to his outside in the 24th position, and shotgun on the field, the number 35 of Elijah Grant. Your starting grid here from Hickory Motor Speedway. The lights are on, the action about to get hot and heavy here as we're ready to get rolling from Hickory Motor Speedway. Golden Racing, Nick is a friend of Blaze Alexander family and actually races on their iRacing account. Very cool, actually. I've spoken to Blaze's brother in the past. I work for an automotive chemical company up in western New York, and we actually used to do a lot of business with the Alexander family of dealerships. So very cool to see that. Glad he's out here running tonight, and definitely noticed that paint scheme right out of the gate. So field beginning to roll. Race details in case you were late to the show. 100 laps the distance tonight. Pit road speed limit a slow 35 miles an hour. 2 sets of tires over the wall. 10% fuel on board, 20 to 25 laps. No fast repairs and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. That is going to be the question here tonight. Even under caution, can you get 4 tires changed? Maybe rights and some fuel, but can you do 4 without losing a lap? Some of these bull rings, it's challenging to do. We'll see if anybody gambles on it here tonight. Base truck makes the run down into pit lane here as we're ready to get things underway from Hickory. We're racing. Dan Michel with the race lead off turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Steve Luttrell has jumped up already a spot into P2. Took full advantage on the initial start. Casey Bristow back to 3rd. Chase Miller and Landon Brown as they battle for the 5th spot. Jason Woodham in trouble early here at Hickory. The Leadfoot TV Chevrolet facing the wrong direction. He'll get righted. I believe he spun that all by himself. So hopefully no hot tempers to be worried about here this evening, at least as far as that incident's concerned. But we are under caution for the first time tonight. Golden Racing says Hunter Carlson with Angry Chef Designs created the paint. This is the Blaze Alexander scheme from just photos of Blaze's old car. That is a challenge for anybody that doesn't paint iRacing cars. I've done a little bit of it myself. I actually did a Tommy Kendall Mustang from the Trans Am series, though we did it on a late model stock. It actually looked beautiful, and I actually even was able to get some input from Tommy Kendall to do it, but it was done the exact same way, just kind of visual representation, some old photos, trying to get angles from all the cars. And that's why I had to reach out to Tom Kendall about it, because I didn't have an image of the rear bumper of the car to see what logos it was. Well, he had a replica die-cast of the car after one of his championships. He snapped a picture of it, sent it to us on Twitter/X, and we got it done. So it's a beautiful paint scheme, that Blaze Alexander machine of Nick Christ. Job well done. Pace truck lights are out. We should see it make that left turn down pit lane here in just a moment. Half a lap away, not quite even that far. Again, a 0.4 of a mile bull ring here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Laps tick by in a hurry, even under caution. Barney with the green in hand, ready to get us back racing. There we go. Dan Michelle maintains the top spot. Luttrell to second, Miller third, Bristow, Van Hoosen the top 5. This is the battle for that 5th position. Bristow on the bottom of number 22, and around goes the 55 of Chase Miller. Spins it down into pit lane, and I think we might stay green. Oh, and around goes the 05 of Van Hoosen from the 5th spot. That'll put us under yellow. So Van Hoosen around here, put us under our 2nd caution of the evening here at Hickory. Thought we were going to get one there with the 55, went around. It was Chase Miller, but he was spun right down into pit lane, was off the racetrack. Race officials swallow the whistle, if you will. To the firefighters in the race, they have a work rival. Bristow is a cop. Hey, cops need heroes too. Ironically, there's about 5 guys in my old department that they're volunteer firemen, but they're deputy sheriffs alongside of it. There's a lot of crossover there. Half a lap away from green here as we work what is actually our 2nd caution of the night. For whatever reason, still, these replay files, they do not do math very well. It says 4th caution. It is certainly not the case. But either way, pace truck comes to pit lane. We're back underway here from Hickory. Michelle gets out in front again. Battle for 2nd on now. Steve Luttrell, Casey Bristow. Luttrell carries a little bit more momentum to the top side of turn number 3. He'll almost clear on the exit of 4. Bristow giving him all he can handle for the time being, but now he's got to worry about the 4 of Colton Alderman, all up the back bumper. He crosses up now and slams the door on Landon Brown. Alderman letting Bristow know it's time to go. Bristow finally putting a little distance between himself and Alderman. Hangs on to that 3rd spot. That little battle there allowed Stephen Luttrell to get separated from the 22. Chase Miller, last car on the racetrack in position. He's a lap down in 25th. Would love to see a caution here. Running in behind the 37 to Luna Liepo. Oh, they make contact. Around they go. Not a major incident, but again, this place is super tight and tidy. You get crossed up, a couple cars sideways, that yellow is going to come out, even if there's not a whole lot of bent sheet metal or debris to worry about. But the caution out now for the third time tonight. Chris Golden in the chat says, if you get a chance, the scheme on the 8 tonight is the scheme of the night. If you can get a close-up, we can absolutely do that. That'd be David Warmoth. And we'll zoom it in the best we can. Got a good shot. There it is. Yeah, I saw that when I was kind of reviewing the replay, trying to set things up. That is a beautiful looking paint scheme. I think David had a really good Kyle Busch scheme, a very similar design as well. Warmoth having trouble finding the box here. He's backing it way up, or is he just going to try it again? Tough part here is I think there's a lot of shared pit boxes. It's a very tight pit road here. Everybody leaving now. Rush hour traffic getting out of this very small pit road. Yeah, one car behind the pit wall here. Is that Hunter Carlson? Nope. Trying to figure out who that was parked in pit lane on the other side of the wall. Still sitting there. Steve Gill. And he's towed it to pit lane after the fact, so something amiss on the number 82 is Stephen Gill. We're back under the green flag. Dan Michel now with pressure from Stephen Luttrell. David Warmoth, hey, blame it on Chris Golden. He told me to get a close-up on the car. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. You get shared pit stalls, tiny pit road. You could have just gone with that. .30 laps in here at Hickory. Dan Michel, I think, has led them all, or the majority of them, to this point. Oh, and some contact from the 91. Bristow up the track. Dan Jones will collect him. Doesn't look like a lot of damage. These ARCA cars tend to hold up pretty well, and they start beating and banging. It's a little worse for wear, but I think all the fenders are relatively straight. Nothing bent down onto the tires. So Bristow falls back to 14th after that incident. They're under caution for the fourth time tonight. Dave Warmoth says, hey, making mistakes is part of it. I own mine. That's always good, because there's plenty of guys on the service that blatantly ruin other people's days, and they blame the guy who's backwards in the fence instead of themselves. Not calling out anybody in this particular league, but there are plenty of guys on the service that do it. I was always the type that I would tend to take blame even if I didn't think it was me, just so I didn't cause a problem. It's not my fault you stopped in the middle of the corner. What does Dave Moody always say? I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. Base truck is in. Green flag back out. Dan Michelle on the gas. Great restarts for the 25. And Luttrell, though, with a run. 6's nose to the bottom off of turn number 2. Battle for the race lead. Michelle just fires out of turn 4. Gaps the 36 by a car length, but good exit for Steven Luttrell out of 2. This could be a very fun race to watch if these two are good at opposite ends of the racetrack for the remainder of the night. Oh, 3 wide behind Chris Golden. Everybody trying to get situated here. Now to the inside in turn number 3. The 37 gets into Chris, and the 19's around, and so is the 37. Caution on the Speedway again. This looks like typical short track racing right now tonight. Nowhere to go. It's hard to pass. You kind of got to root your way in there. If you get a nose in, you got to kind of stick it there and keep it there. This reminds me of the old Dale Earnhardt quote, and I don't have it perfectly, but talking about guy tries to cut you off, you stand your ground. Sometimes it turns out bad, but sometimes you win races too. So Golden's in the pits here. He'll bolt on 4 fresh General tires and head back out. Maybe get a little bit of left rear damage repair from that contact with the 37 to Luna Liepo. Colton Alderman on pit lane, so we've got another round of stops. Top 14 drivers stay out on the racetrack. Dan Michelle being one of them. Dan Jones bookending the top 14. Lights on the base truck go out. And we'll get to watch another restart with Dan Michelle and Steven Luttrell. Base truck is in. Michelle makes an adjustment, carries the speed. Wow, Luttrell really dives it deep down into turn 3, goes to the top lane now, will carry a little bit of momentum on exit, but not enough to run down the 25, but it's now opened the door for Landon Brown. Brown in the 5 on the bottom of the racetrack as they run out of turn number 2. Austin Cansdale also in the mix, and Luttrell straightens it back up. Oh, and Manley goes around at start finish. Cautions breeding cautions here tonight. Still in Manly in the Brinnon Fire Department scheme. Just a lazy spin on the front stretch. Doesn't hit anything. Tracy Brown, Hunter Carlson on pit road. Dan Jones, Elijah Grant. And Marty Roberts also on pit lane in his number 54. Sponsorship opportunities available on the number 54. McManley lost a lap here in that exchange. I don't know if he's going to get a wave around here or not. He's dropping to the tail, it seems. Want to make note, if you guys didn't already know, we are pushing this stream to 4K resolution here on YouTube. So if you've got a 4K compatible screen or TV or even your phone and strong enough internet to support it, switch over your quality to 4K. It looks beautiful. Pace car is in. Big jump by there. Michelle and crossed up at the start. The 33 Austin Cansdale in the fence, but he keeps it down the track, but the caution comes out again. I think Luna Liepo was actually parked on the racetrack at the time. That's what brought the caution out. Gino Valenti trying to get righted here in pit lane. I gotta say, that is another good-looking paint scheme. I think I said it last week, but the ARM graphic and design number 15. Some very good blending of graphics there. It looks good. Race leader on pit lane. Dan Michelle going to bolt on a fresh set of General tires. Top off the tank. It'll be 4 tires for the 25. So he'll rejoin the Speedway. So working caution number 7 here at the Speedways. We are just past halfway. That'll cycle Colton Alderman and Tracy Brown to the front row as we're half a lap from the restart. Oh, wheel spin for the Colton Alderman machine. He keeps it straight into turn number 1 now. 91 to Tracy Brown in tow. Battle for third, Elijah Grant. Dan Jones side by side. Dan Michelle cycles back to the 12th position after his pit stop. He's going to have some work to do. Big gaggle of cars in there, 3 wide off turn number 2. Colton Alderman now putting some distance on Tracy Brown. Steve Luttrell, though, has been fast a lot of the night tonight, battling with the 25, finally able to get out in front of Dan Michelle. He runs in the 7th position. Michelle back to 11th or 12th here, battling with Pat Warmoth. Oh, up the racetrack, almost some contact with the 69 as they run 3 wide again. Man, 3 wide at Hickory. Here we go into 3. Pat Warmoth checks up, big wiggle by the 25. Side-by-side battle, Elijah Grant, Dan Michelle. This for the 9th position. Michelle takes it with relative ease now that he's got some tire temperature into that race car. Now knocking on the back door of Austin Cansdale. Oh, some contact just ahead. Cansdale and David Warmoth side by side, 3 wide off of turn number 2. Michelle clears them both. Man, he is just shot out of a cannon here tonight. Now underneath Landon Brown. What a fun thing to watch here. Dan Michel trying to knife his way through the field. Wants to get back into that solid track position so he can get out into some clean air. Again, 0.4 of a mile. Clean air, not necessarily that big of a deal, but traffic can always be a concern. Michel really doing a good job getting through that traffic, as now he's looking at the back bumper of Stephen Luttrell. We'll get to watch this battle shape up. Colton Alderman still with the race lead. Cansdale still back in 8th. Oh, and he over-rotates it off at turn 4. Slides it across start-finish, and he's facing the wrong way. The caution is out again. Our 8th yellow of the evening for the 33 of Austin Cansdale. So yeah, Dan Michel working his way up 6 positions from the restart. This may have been our longest green flag run of the night, or at least close to it. So now our race leaders will come down and pit. Alderman, Brown, Jones, Hunter Carlson, Steve Luttrell decides he's going to make a pit stop here and put on some fresh tires. So that'll put him at a slight advantage tire-wise over Dan Michel. If we get a longer run here, that could be a pretty significant advantage at the later stages of the race, but that's the thing. Steve Letard always says, if you tell me when the cautions are going to come out, I can tell you exactly when to pit. That's the problem, though. You don't know when that caution's coming out. So that exchange will move the 25 back out front. Chris Golden leaving track for pit lane. And I think this might be the second set of tires for Chris. Ready for the restart here at Hickory as the field rolls down into turns 3 and 4. Soon as Michel gets to that restart zone, he fires off. Brown, though, sticks it to the outside, at least a nose for a moment, but good corner exit speed for Dan Michel. Landon Brown, though, still right there. Trouble. The 56 is around. Chris Norris. Chris Golden will get involved in this as well. I think this all started off the nose of the 44, Ryan Bittler. More takers on pit lane. Matt Warmoth, Austin Cansdale. Gino Valenti going to come down and take maybe a final set of tires here. So our 9th caution of the night. Ignore the 17th caution that shows up in the timing and scoring. Again, SDK a little glitchy here tonight. Gino having trouble finding his pit box. Gino having some trouble here. I don't know if he actually made the stop or if he just gave up. So just like that, ready for a restart yet again. Front row, it's going to be Dan Michel, Landon Brown. Then it's Colton Alderman, Tracy Brown in behind, and I think we might be going single file here. No, maybe not. We're going to stay doubled up. 25 laps to go at the line. Dave Warma says, well, it felt like 17 cautions. I don't know. The good thing about this place is the cautions get over in a hurry. You can kind of afford to have a little bit of a caution fest on these smaller short tracks because it's not very long that you're behind that pace truck. You do it at Pocono, it feel like an eternity. Dan Michel comfortably in the race lead. He put it on pole, was fastest in practice. With 23 laps to go, he continues to dominate over Landon Brown, Colton Alderman, Tracy Brown, Hunter Carlson. And Chris Golden with a moment. Grabs a gear and gets it back underway. We stay green. And with some takers here on pit lane, they're within their fuel window. Again, 20 to 25 laps is kind of what we expected. Nick Christ, Jason Woodham. Looks like fuel only for the 71. Nick Christ. Dan Michel on pit lane from the race lead. So yes, final pit stops underway here at Hickory. Colton Alderman, Hunter Carlson will occupy the top two positions as they're running down Landon Brown and Dan Michel. Michel and Brown somehow managing to stay on the lead lap in that exchange. Carlson making a look to the inside for the race lead. He'll cross the stripe, not quite. Alderman will lead it this time, but that may change the next time by. These guys may just stay out here and cross their fingers for a caution so they can make their final pit stop. They came down last at lap 68. It'd be a long stretch here to make it all the way to the end. In the chat says pit boxes are so small, car barely fits in the stalls. Very difficult pit road. I'm seeing that. A lot of guys are struggling. Carlson, though, tucks back in behind Alderman. Gonna cool the tires for a bit. Maybe give it another shot here, but he's got a very fast Stephen Luttrell knocking on the back door. Luttrell goes to the top. Hunter Carlson way down to the bottom of the racetrack. 13 laps to go this time by. Austin Cansdale still into the top five. Tracy Brown back to fifth. Dan Michel shown in the 11th position, but about 3/4 of a lap behind the race leaders right now. They're off of turn 2, now into 3. Michel back to start finish. Finally settling into a green flag run here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Dylan Manley will take it to pit lane for his final stop. Beautifully executed entrance to the pit box for the 96. Stephen Luttrell now will pit for the final time with only 10 to go, so this is going to shake up the running order. Alderman stays out. Now he's into pit lane for his final stop. Cansdale inherits the race lead, 9 laps to go. Austin Cansdale, your race leader. Then it's Bristow, Brown, Warmoth, and Dan Michel back to the top 5. Didn't expect to see a round of green flag stops here tonight, but here we are late in the going, and we got them. Chris Golden on the pit lane. And Gino Volanti in the pits. And we're under caution again. I think Gino had a spin out on the racetrack a lap ago. So this may actually set us up for a green-white checkered finish. So 10th caution of the night here at Hickory Motor Speedway, and it's going to set us up for a shootout to the checkered flag. We're going to add a little bit extra laps here. Dave Warma says, I parked on my crew chief's toes, and iRacing Black Box says, you're too far to the right. Gonna take him out at the knees next time. So running order as they stand right now. Austin Cansdale the leader. Then it's David Warmuth, Dan Michelle, Landon Brown, Colton Alderman the top 5. Then Hunter Carlson, Steve Luttrell, Casey Bristow, Tracy Brown. We know Dan Michelle has been the lights-out driver of the night, but he's going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat here at Hickory to pick up the win. Does not have a whole lot of time to get it done. Austin Cansdale is going to have to run for his life here. Not a bad spot for Dan Michelle. It's going to come down to the restart, I believe. Base truck lights are off. It makes the run down to pit lane. Maybe our final restart of the night. David Warmuth to the outside. Little contact from Landon Brown. 2 laps to go. Oh, and the 8 gets turned up the racetrack. We stay green. Cansdale will take the white flag. Dan Michelle stalking the 33 through turns 1 and 2. He's been dominant all night. Does he have enough to take it away from Austin Cansdale? Into 3 and 4 for the final time. I don't think he's going to do it. Austin Cansdale wins it at Hickory. Cansdale led 8 laps tonight, but they were the ones that made the difference. He'll park it here in Victory Lane. Dan Michelle, Casey Bristow finishing to 2nd and 3rd as Cansdale celebrates here on the front stretch. I love short track racing. Come on, Austin. Roll that brake to the front. Light him up. I think he's just going to park it here with the trophy girls. So that'll do it here from Hickory Motor Speedway. Again, I don't know if we're going to have anybody available. Looks like I've got our 3rd place finisher, Casey Bristow, and somebody else, FWM Lucky Prime. I don't know who that is. Try to get those names changed, but we're going to stick around here. Let's see if we can pull some drivers up into the broadcast booth here. We'll talk to, first and foremost, Casey Bristow. Started 2nd here tonight. And we've got Casey Bristow in the broadcast booth. Casey, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got us? Well, Casey, congratulations, man. A 3rd place finish here tonight after a 2nd place start. Tough conditions out there in this bull ring of a racetrack. 10 cautions to deal with, a lot of restarts to be concerned with. Pit lane was a struggle. What was the biggest challenge for you here this evening?
I don't know. I just think the track itself, it's so tiny. And if you lose track position, you're kind of screwed. But besides that, trying to figure out fuel mileage and whatnot. Once I got turned by the 91, I don't know what happened there, but when I got spun, I was like, this is gonna put me in the back. So my main objective was to try to outthink my opponents and try to get the right amount of fuel. And it was okay. I got bailed out at the end there because if that caution didn't come out late, I would have had to pit and I wouldn't have had a top 3. So just some short track racing. It was a lot of fun though.
The chips fall where they may. It was certainly entertaining to watch, even with the large amount of cautions that we had this evening. I don't know what it is. It's short track racing with this ARCA car. It makes for very entertaining events. I don't know if it's the same from the cockpit of your vehicles, but we had fun up here in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I gotta thank all my competitors because I'm pretty new to this league, and they're all really nice. I think the racing's really, really good, to be honest with you. I know that it might not have shown that with this race with a lot of cautions, but I think that's more of a product of the track. Just one little tiny bump can send someone around, and I don't think it really shows the whole picture. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm happy to be here, and I'm really looking forward to Gateway next week.
Well, that leads me into the next question. Gateway is coming up next week, a very unorthodox racetrack. I like to call it like if Darlington and New Hampshire had a baby. It's a very different style racetrack. I guess a flat Darlington, I guess, is a better example. But how do you set yourself up for success next week at Gateway?
Just be up at the front, and I don't think we're going to see as many cautions this race at Gateway, but yeah, you just got to be there. And like Denny Hamlin said, that's my guy, that's my driver. He says, he knows he's going to win if he has a 100% car. So this race, I'd say I'd had about an 80% car, but it's, as they say, it's better to be lucky than good. I was able to come home with that 3rd place. So, my objective is to go out there and have a 100% car and be up front. I think I can do that, and we'll see. Like you said, the chips will fall where they may. I've had 2 pretty good runs with this league so far: 5th at Dover and a 3rd place at Hickory. So let's try to increase that to a 1st place.
All right, Casey. Well, we're looking forward to it. Congratulations again on a top 3 finish here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank my wife. She lets me do this. I'm going to get a little religious here, but Jesus. It's really cool that I'm able to live in a time where we can do this. And it's not because I finished in 3rd place and I'm being interviewed. It's just that, you live where you live, I live where I live, and, we're all able to come together and do this. We have something that we all enjoy. So that's really cool. If you get where I'm coming from.
100%.
But my competitors, this is such a cool league. They're all very kind, so thanks to them. Thanks to Chris Golden for putting this on, and thanks to you. Your broadcast is incredible.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Casey. That's just the end of it, man. I mean, we have a good time doing this. Yeah, we're trying to run a business at the same time, but they always used to tell me growing up, do something you love, you won't work a day in your life. I do a different job that I don't really care for, but this one I look forward to. So, Casey, thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations again, and good luck next week at Gateway.
All right, thank you.
It's Casey Bristow, your 3rd place finisher. We do have Austin Cansdale available. We'll pull him up into the booth here. Led 8 laps here tonight. See what he has to say about his success here tonight at Hickory Motor Speedway. Austin, it's Steve in the booth. You got me? Austin Cansdale. Steve with Track Limits. You there?
I got you. Sorry, I was having
There we go. We got you. All right. So, Austin, congratulations, man. Strong run here tonight. Not a dominant performance, but at the end of the night, you only really need to lead 1 lap. That's the last one. You did just that. Survived a green-white checkered finish. Strong run here this evening, nonetheless. Had a little bit of trouble. Was around, I think, once this evening. But walk us through your evening. What was the strategy coming into this type of short racetrack, and how did you keep it out in front there and hold off the 25 at the end?
Well, we didn't qualify really good. We started back there in the mid-pack, and we just came into my strategy with just keep the car clean, just don't get no damage, and be there in the later part of the race. And then caution came out a little late there, and well, the crew chief said, with the cautions falling the way they are, we might be able to save enough fuel to win this race. So right there at the end, we pitted. It was like 40 laps to go, somewhere in there. We pitted, took 4 tires, took fuel, and a caution came out right in the middle of it. And we just saved enough fuel to make it to the end, and was able to hold Daniel and Michelle behind us there at the very end of that race.
Fuel was certainly a question. I think it shows on our end, you made your pit stop, I think it was lap 74. I think the fuel window was 20 to 25 laps, plus we had the green-white checkered. And reports are you ran out of fuel trying to do the donuts.
Oh, yeah, I did. I got one good little loop in there, and it just started spitting and sputtering. So I was trying to burn it down as much as I could, but I only got one out of it.
Certainly makes the crew chief smile when you park it in Victory Lane and you can't drive it back.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does.
Next week, Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway, at Gateway, whatever you want to call it. We know where we're going. Again, an unorthodox style racetrack. Very different corners at opposite ends. How do you prepare yourself? Do you focus on 1 and 2? Do you focus on 3 and 4? Or do you kind of work on a balance?
To be honest, Gateway is always one of them tricky tracks. I heard you talking to Chase over there, or yeah, Casey, my bad, not Chase. It's kind of like Darlington and New Hampshire mixed together, so it's kind of hard to tame. You don't know which one you're going to get better at. Personally, if I had to pick a corner to get better at, it's 3 and 4, because you ain't going to win it off 1 and 2. You're going to win it off 3 and 4.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it, Austin. A job well done here tonight. Congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank?
I just want to thank my wife for letting me do this, my friend Brandon, all my supporters. I want to thank Hunter Carlson for making my paint scheme. This was like one of his first early designs when he first started Golden Chef Designs. I want to thank Golden Chef Speed Shop, all the supporters, FWM Network, everything that you do, the good Lord above, just everything that makes the world go around, man.
Well said, sir. Congratulations again. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at Gateway.
Thank you.
Austin Cansdale, race winner here at Hickory Motor Speedway. For the Brinnon Fire Department 100 at Hickory in the books. It's all said and done. Let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, we talked to 2 of our top 3, and of course, it's not going to display properly. Here we go again with this. Let's try it again. Oh, there it is. Okay. Austin Cansdale, your race winner. Dan Michelle, dominant performance from pole, 1 practice, put it on pole, finishes P2, come up 1 short, but still a solid points night for the 25. Casey Bristow in the 22 finishes P3. Colton Alderman was 4th. Steve Luttrell salvages the top 5. I think he had a better car than that at the end, but didn't have the laps to get there. Hunter Carlson was 6th. Tracy Brown 7th. David Warmoth was 8th. Landon Brown came home in the 9th position. Dan Jones was 10th. 11th was Yogi Schlier. Ryan Bittler was 12th. Jason Woodham was 13th. Elijah Grant 14th. Nick Christ was 15th. Pat Warmoth 16th. Chris Golden comes home in the 17th spot. Marty Roberts 18th. 19th finisher was the 96 of Dylan Manley with the Brinnon Fire Department colors. Chris Norris was 20th. 21st place was Gino Valenti. 22nd went to Luna Liepo. James Van Hoosen 23rd. Chase Miller 24th. And last but not least, the number 82 of Stephen Gill will finish 25th, 77 laps down. I thank you guys all for tuning in here on this midday Saturday broadcast. Thank you guys for being patient and letting us run this a little bit late. We had some other obligations on Thursday to get taken care of. But again, want to let everybody know late in June, we're going to try and start covering some of these live as the season winds down. We've got a little schedule change for about 8 weeks, so it gives us the opportunity to run 0X Strategy Series live and also this broadcast live. So that's a positive thing, and should be able to get more interviews post-race. I do appreciate you guys watching the broadcast and jumping up in the Discord so you can get your interviews in post-race, even though we're on a delay. I know schedules can be tough, and we certainly appreciate that effort. That'll do it for us. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you at the next one. Have a good night.